Merry Christmas, everybody. This is your Small Town Pastor Podcast. I'm your host, Shane Tarpley. This is episode number 6. I can hardly believe that we are this far into the podcast, and I hope that it has been encouraging to you, inspiring. I hope it's, in some level, been challenging, because that's what I am on the Enneagram. I'm an 8, and I'm a challenger, and that's what I tend to do with our leaders and things like that. And so, as we've been talking about the different aspects of pastoring and the trials and the triumph and all of the things that go with pastoring, today I thought we would kind of shift gears a little bit. You know, in the past episodes, we've kind of dropped a little bit of leadership. We've dropped some perspective from a small town pastor wife aspect of it. And we heard from my wife, Amanda, and all the things that go with that. But today, first of all, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas. And I hope that this season is really not draining you like it can in churches as pastors, trying to have all of the big productions and squeeze everything in to the Advent calendar, if you will. And we're so concerned about, well, we've got to do this, and we got to make sure that we have this, the candlelight, the communion, the kids' Christmas play, the special production from the worship team, and all of these types of things that we feel like are a part of church and attractional to people that, you know, we think will draw people. But here's the thing. Jesus said it himself. He said, "I will draw all men unto me." He said, "I will draw all men unto me." What is, like, when I think about that, in some aspect, that takes the heavy lifting off of me as a pastor. Like, Jesus, if you said that you're the one that's going to draw all men to you, then that means that you're going to draw all men to you maybe through me. And yes, you want to use me. But in some sense, that means that when people finally make up their mind to come to church, and let's just be honest with you, can I just tell you, Pastor, that social media is a great resource, but it's not church. And unfortunately, culture has allowed social media to create this false sense of church, to where people can go on social media and feel like they're connected, when in fact, statistically, they say that social media disconnects people even greater than it was intended to connect people, if that makes sense to you. So what am I getting at? Pastor, sometimes you got to let yourself off the hook. And in this Christmas season, what I want to encourage you with is to find a place and some time to turn off. You say, well, this is the busiest season of the year, and I get that. It is for me too. But here's the thing. If we don't find a regular place and time every single week to take a Sabbath, then we are going to be no good. And here's the thing. I hear people all the time saying, well, I'm just burned out, I'm tired. And maybe I've kind of, mentioned this in one of our other podcasts, and they just feel like they're burning out. Not even pastors, but people that are serving in church and various leaders and things. And listen, in our church, I'm the only paid staff right now. And so all of our ministry leaders are volunteer, and they are doing a ton of work. But one thing that I try to encourage them to do, that I've been convicted about, is finding that place to find rest. Like, not more sleep. Maybe you do need to go to bed early. Maybe on a Saturday morning you need to sleep in. But listen, rest does not mean sleep. And we take vacations, and we come back from vacations, and we're more tired than when we left. And we try to take a day off, but our day off is filled with busyness and running errands and trying to catch up on things that we didn't get to during the week. And then the weekend hits, and some of us don't even write our sermons until Friday or Saturday. Listen, I don't know what's up about that, but you need to write your sermon at the beginning of the week. You need to have God being downloaded that thing into you before Saturday. Listen, maybe that's not your practice. It's mine, because I cannot imagine getting up on a Saturday morning with nothing prepared, and my team not knowing which direction I'm going. Now, maybe you have a theme and you're just like, well, I haven't written the script, whatever, or the outline, however you preach it. That's fine. I'm not getting on that. We all have our different flows and what we adhere to. But the thing is, you've got to find that time of rest and rejuvenation where you can sit in the presence of God. That's what true rest is. It is being rejuvenated by the presence and the Spirit of God Himself pouring into you, Pastor. And listen, I know there's a lot of small town pastors that are watching this, that subscribe to this. And I know your church is not super busy. Maybe you don't have a dynamic outreach program, and you don't have, Wednesday night Bible study, and you don't have 10 small groups that meet during the week, and you don't have an amazing kids program. And you're thinking, well, what do I need to rest from? You need to rest from those phone calls, those incessant phone calls that you get from those deacons, or from, Miss Susie, who's, complaining about Joanne over here, or, Uncle Fred, who is tired of seeing the clutter in the corner but doesn't want to do anything about it. Come on, those are real people. They want to call you to unlock the church when you live 20 minutes away and they live 5 minutes away. Or, they want you to take care of this, and they want you to do this. And you're just thinking, man, I don't have time. That's what you got to rest from. Maybe you don't have your church busy and it's not going in every direction. Maybe it's not even growing in this season. But listen to me, Pastor. Listen. You have got to find time to rest, to rejuvenate, because if you don't, you're not going to be effective. You're not going to be any good to anybody. You got to find time to be in God's Word. You got to find time to sit and soak in His presence, to turn on that worship music, whatever style you prefer, and just be completely unhindered, unhinged. Turn your phone off. Turn it on Do Not Disturb. That's an amazing feature, D&D, Do Not Disturb. And just say, listen, I'm going to go into my prayer closet for the next 45 minutes to an hour, whatever the case is. Nobody call me. Don't you dare knock on this door. Don't text me. Or if you just have too many people, you're like, well, I can't tell that many people not to text me. Do Not Disturb is a wonderful tool that every phone has, and it's amazing. And if you don't have it on your phone, then just turn your phone completely off. I promise the church will not burn down if you take an hour to spend in God's presence. Man, I just want to encourage a pastor right now. I feel this in my heart that there's some pastor watching this, and maybe you're completely burned out, or you're on the verge, you're hanging on the fringe, and you're just thinking, I cannot do anymore. If I get one more phone call, I am going to snap. And you feel like they are putting all the pressure. Listen, you got to take the pressure off. You got to say, hey, thank you, Deacon John, for telling me that the carpet needs vacuuming, but I'm going to put that on you. And if you don't take care of it, guess what? It's still going to be dirty. Or, thank you, Leader Susie, for letting me know that, there are dirty diapers in the trash can. And if you don't clean it out on Sunday morning, it's still going to be there. And you can say that with a smile. You can say that lovingly, because you know what, Pastor? Listen to me. You're the shepherd of that church. God has placed you with a calling to lead those people. God has made you the captain of that ship. It's your job to drive it. It's your job to steer it. It's your job to direct it. It's your job to impart vision, to cast vision into those people, because the Bible says where there is no vision, the people cast off all restraint. Another translation says where there is no vision, the people go crazy. That's why they're going crazy. That's why they keep texting you. That's why they keep calling you, telling you to take out the trash, telling you to vacuum the floor, telling you to clean the toilets, telling you to mop the floors, all that kind of stuff, because there is no vision that directs people in a clear line. And until you start casting vision that is clear and articulated well, and then setting aside time to meet with your leaders to say, hey, this is what I need you to do. Here is your job description. And people sign on to that and they commit to that. Now, listen, I know in this season right now, I said that social media has created this false sense of church that that we are seeing right now, and people will go on and make prayer requests, and they feel like their prayer requests are being heard, and maybe they are. Somebody somewhere is sincerely touching heaven on their behalf, or they will reach out with this complaint, or they will put all of their business on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Listen, Facebook is not your small group. Facebook is not your church. Online church, I get it. A lot of churches, we do too, have online campuses. But listen, it was never intended for you to spend the ecclesia of the actual in-person gathering together of church online. For us, we use it as a tool and a resource. Hey, if you miss church, if you're on vacation, tune in, watch it live. But it's not the same. Yes, we can reach people. We've seen people get saved. We have people from all across the world watching our broadcast and our online. But the thing about it is, Pastor, you got to find some time to rest. All that stuff is second compared to what God has put in your heart, what God has put down deep inside of you. And so I want to encourage you that this Christmas season, if you don't take a Sabbath, if you don't take a rest, find that time to take that Sabbath and take that rest. Find that time to spend with God, whether it's in the morning, right before you go to bed, or sometime in the middle of the day. Just turn everything off and let God speak to you. And I promise you will see things different, you will feel things different, and you will be different. And your people will appreciate it because you are not aggravated, you are not frustrated, you are not angry, you're not hateful, you're not burned out, you're not lackluster, lackadaisical, all those things that come with no rest. And you don't need more sleep. You just need more time in the presence of God. So listen, that's your Small Town Podcast for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next time as we continue on this journey, helping you become a healthier, better pastor. God bless.